Alright, so let's create our first object together. On my balcony I have like some furniture, right? And I thought this would be a great thing to rebuild as it's simple and we can learn something from it. So we are starting with creating a cube. Let's just create a cube. Now, if you take a look, the cube is not at the world center. The world center is where those lines meet. And usually when I work, I always set things so they sit on the ground, right? The ground is the 0 point here. So we go tab, edit mode, and at the bottom here with face select, let me enable my shortkeys. At the bottom here with face select, I'm going to select the face, right click. I'm going to press Shift S. This lets me snap things to my cursor, so to this thing here, or the cursor to something. And I want to snap the cursor right in the center here. Shift S. Cursor to selected. The cursor will be here. Now I want to set the origin of the object down here. Let's go back into object mode, because in object mode we can change things about the object. I have this on Q. This is my quick favorites menu, origin to 3D cursor. Now for you might not have this on Q, you might have nothing on Q. You can press spacebar for the search bar and type in origin to 3D cursor, and there you will have it. You can right click this and set it to your quick favorites. Now I can remove it because I already have it in there, but you can set it to your quick favorites. And then you can press Q and you will have it there. Q origin to 3D cursor. And now you can see the orange point is right down here. If you press N, we can see under item, top one, that our location is now Z-1 because it's now here. Our location is this orange point. If I make this to 0, it will set in the center because everything is 0. Or I can press Alt G to simply reset it. Alright, with that we have a cube. Now we can also see the dimensions. Now this thing is 2 meters high. I don't think a chair is 2 meters high. So I think about, let's see, it's probably 0.35 centimeters high and about 1 meter on each axis here. So 1 meter wide and 35 centimeters high. Now we want to make the place we're sitting in, right? So let's actually copy the cube, Shift D, Z, move it a little bit up. And we're going to, you can see we have the scale here and the scale is changed. Whenever you work, you want to make sure it's most of the times at 1. So we can press Ctrl A and apply the rotation, always the rotation as well. Rotation, Ctrl A, scale. And there we go, it's 1. Same thing for that one, rotation, scale, Ctrl A. Now, we can use this one to cut out a part here. I have for this add-on here, which is called Boolean. Now this is a free add-on. You can just go to Edit, Preferences, Add-ons, and type in Bool tool. There it is. You can activate it, and then you will also have it under Edit here. Now we can select one and make the other one active by holding Shift. You're selecting one with right click, Shift, right click the other one. Selected, active. The active one is always orange, and you can only have one active one. You can have multiple selected ones, yeah. Selected, and this one is active. This is important to understand because this is how Blender recognizes things. We have one selected and we have one active. And then in the same order selected, you can click brush Boolean. So now this one will get wireframed, so look through. And if we now take this and move this down, you can see we're cutting the other one with it. Selected to active. And if we now as Shift Z to exclude the Z axis, we can make this thinner without changing the Z axis. And we can GZ move this down to cut a hole in here. Now I'm going to move this GY a little bit out here. Actually, let's press 1 on numpad. So we're looking from the front and we know what the front is. Okay, I want to go over here. All right. And I'm going to move this down, GZ. I think it can be a little bit further back. So SY roughly here. Let's press 7 on numpad so we can roughly see it. We want it relatively even. Make sure you don't move it on the x-axis because we want to have it centered. If you accidentally moved it on the on the x-axis, you can go to item and put the x-axis to 0. So this looks about right, I think. I want to have it a little bit further down, like that. Now, if we select our chair here and go to the modify tabs, ooh, we have a modifier. Why? Because under edit, the bool tool added this one for us automatically. So it's just a helper add-on which creates these booleans. Now we can delete this one and we can select this one in the object, under the object tab, we can scroll down, viewport display, and here we can see it's changed the visibility to bounds. If we change this back to textured, we just have our simple cube back. Now let's create the bool. In order to create our bool modifier manually, we want to select this one here because this is where we want to make a cut. Let's go to the modifiers tab, and here we're going to find a boolean. So what do we want to bool it with? We want to bool it with that one here. Now we cannot see it, but if I go Z wireframe, we can see it's actually got cut through. But this one here is still textured, so we cannot, so it's like in the way of us seeing things. We can change this by going to the object properties, scrolling down, and changing this to either bounds or wire. And there we go, we have the same thing. But now if we move this, this will still cut through, right? We want to apply this, so select the chair, go to the modifiers, and with the mouse over the modifier, press Ctrl A. Now it will be applied, and it's basically destructive, it's set in stone. We can also, if we go back with Ctrl Z, apply it here. Yeah, if we unfold this here, but don't use this. Just go with the mouse over it, Ctrl A, much quicker. Select it, delete the cube, and we have the sitting area.